Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV. I'm Sarah Jacob. The top story right now. There are at least 1,431 Omicron cases in India on New Year's Day. Delhi's daily COVID cases jumped by 50%. That's the highest since May. 6,347 new coronavirus cases were reported in Mumbai. That's 12% higher than yesterday. 10 ministers and 30 MLAs tested positive after the winter session of Assembly as cases spiked in Maharashtra. Gurgaon and 4 other Haryana cities have closed cinemas, sports centres and implemented 50% attendance in offices amidst a COVID surge. Delhi recorded a massive 50% jump in COVID cases on Saturday with 2,716, around 3.64% of COVID tests turning positive. That's a high positivity rate considered to be one of the first signs of an impending wave of infections. The city also recorded 1 death, but the public seems oblivious. Despite COVID curbs, crowds were seen everywhere, from the Siddhivinayak temple in Mumbai to the Taj Mahal in Agra to the Victoria Memorial in Kolkata.
Business as usual at one of Delhi's most crowded markets, Sarojini Nagar. No impact of government warnings about the third wave of the coronavirus on shoppers on New Year's Day. Shops are open odd and even on government orders, but the crowds swelled through the day and despite the police presence, very few masks could be seen.
पहले कंधे से कंधा टकराता था क्योंकि 2 साल से व्यापारी वैसे भी पिसा हुआ है क्या करे काम धंधे भी जरूरी है अर्थव्यवस्था भी देश की आगे ले जानी है
Even the Delhi Health Minister issued a warning.
Positivity rate 2.44 रहा.
Dr. Suresh Kumar, the senior director of LNJP Hospital, says that the steady rise in cases are seen even in doubly vaccinated people, but the ones who are twice vaccinated are recovering faster.
निश्चित रूप से जो वैक्सीनेटेड ग्रुप है उसमें लक्षण कम है पर जो अनवैक्सीनेटेड है उसमें थोड़ा सा जो है फीवर है sore throat है
Despite the government warnings and night curfew, many were reported to be out late night for New Year's gatherings. With Saurabh Shukla in New Delhi, Bureau Report, NDTV.
And as cases in Mumbai and Maharashtra continue to rise significantly in the last 5 days, the recently concluded assembly session has also turned out to be a super spreader of sorts as 30 MLAs, including 10 ministers, tested positive for COVID. Meanwhile, the registration of teenagers who can be vaccinated began on Saturday, the first day of the year. The actual vaccinations will begin on Monday, the 3rd of January, and all of this coming in the midst of this massive spike in cases. The centres are now gearing up to start inoculating the younger population from Monday. The vaccine option for those in this 15 to 18 age group is only Covaxin.
17-year-old Rishi and 15-year-old Daksh Baswal finding slots on the CoWIN portal to register for vaccination after it opened for 15 to 18-year-olds today. The brothers in 12th and 10th grades say they are relieved.
अच्छा लग रहा है क्योंकि हम कहीं पे भी बाहर जा नहीं सकते थे पहले और अब हमारा रजिस्ट्रेशन हो गया इससे हमें ये रहेगा कि हमारा वैक्सीन लग जाएगी तो उसके बाद हमें टेंशन कब रहेगी
बहुत लोग तो रहते थे हम कभी बाहर नहीं जा पाते थे और हमारे फ्रेंड्स भी कभी बाहर नहीं जा पाते थे बस हम ऑनलाइन ही बात कर सकते थे अब हमें ऐसा लगता है कि हम थोड़ा बाहर जा पाएंगे और हमें थोड़ा एश्योरेंस है कि हमें कोविड नहीं होगा
अब भी थोड़ा सा बेटर फील हो रहा है क्योंकि अब लग रहा है कि बच्चे थोड़े बाहर घूमने फिरने जा सकते हैं पहले तो ऐसा हो गया था जैसे कि कैद में है बच्चों के साथ हमें भी कैद में रहना पड़ रहा था
In UP's Hapur, 17-year-old Vansh registered for vaccination as soon as the portals opened on CoWIN.
पहले जब हम बोर्ड के पेपर देने जाते थे तो हमें बहुत डर लगा रहता था पर अब बहुत राहत हो गई है कि हमें कोरोना का टीका लग जाएगा और मुझे बहुत खुशी है कि अब मेरा वैक्सीनेशन जल्दी ही हो जाएगा
रजिस्ट्रेशन करा के हम लोगों को बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है क्योंकि अब हमारे बच्चों को वैक्सीन लगेगी पहले हमें डर लगा रहता था जब वो स्कूल जाते थे कि कहीं हमारा बच्चा संक्रमित ना हो जाए
Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia made the announcement on 1st January. Registration can be done on CoWIN portal. Only Covaxin available for 15 to 18th age group. School ID card accepted as a proof of identity. Approximately 8 crore children in 15 to 18 age group to benefit. Health experts and pediatrics welcome the decision.
It looks very essential step, Parents were very anxious. They want.
The decision to allow vaccination for the age group of 15 to 18 comes at a time when the threat of Omicron variant of COVID-19 looms large over the entire world. And while a significant chunk of our population will benefit from this particular decision, remains to be seen that when exactly will government decide on vaccination for the remaining age groups as well. With camera person Pawan Tiwari and colleague Mohammad Adnan in Hapura Makshadongre for NDTV.
And as the number of cases of the fast-spreading Omicron variant has risen to 1,431 all over India, the impact is being felt in tourism-dependent states like Kerala.
At Kovalam Beach, high security surveillance and regular announcements to vacate the beach by 8:30 p.m. Among the New Year revelers by the beach, largely locals and some domestic tourists at a cultural procession. Some with masks, some off.
We did a road trip from Hyderabad. We are just maintaining our distance, following the protocols, whatever the government guidelines are, and trying to enjoy ourselves as well, because it has been like 2 years we have not gone out, right?
I think here it's okay, people are respectful. I see many people wearing masks, much more than in Europe.
But missing from scene, the sea of international tourists, the bulk of usual visitors during December festivities in Kerala amid massive cancellations, say hoteliers.
നമ്മളുടെ അവസ്ഥ ഞങ്ങളെല്ലാം കടക്കണിയിലാണ്. ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് ടൂറിസം കൊണ്ട് ജീവിക്കുന്നവരാണ്. 10-28 വർഷം കൊണ്ട് ഞങ്ങൾ ടൂറിസം കൊണ്ട് ജീവിക്കുന്നു. ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് മറ്റൊരു തൊഴിൽ അറിയില്ല. എനിക്ക് എൻ്റെ സ്ഥാപനത്തിൽ തന്നെ 12ഓളം സ്റ്റാഫുകൾ ഇപ്പോൾ ഉണ്ട്. അവർക്ക് ശമ്പളം കൊടുക്കാൻ പോലും നിവൃത്തിയില്ല.
Kerala on Friday saw highest one-day surge of Omicron cases in the state, with 44 confirmations and a total count of 107. Bulk of cases returnees from low-risk countries, 2 cases still now with no travel history or contact with returnees.
Kites have been flying high through the New Year Eve, but this pandemic has dealt a severe blow for many livelihoods linked to the tourism industry. As we enter a new year, here's hoping a safer year and better times for everyone. With camera person SP Babu, Sneha Koshi for NDTV.
And as cases in Mumbai and Maharashtra continue to rise, the recently concluded assembly session has also turned out to be a super spreader of sorts, as 30 MLAs, including 10 ministers, tested positive for COVID.
10 मंत्र्यांना कोरोनाची लागण झालेली आहे. जवळपास 20 पेक्षा जास्त आमदारांना कोरोनाची लागण झालेली आहे. पेशंटची संख्या फार गतीने जर वाढायला लागले तर नाईलाजाने अजून कठोर निर्णय घेण्याची.
The recently concluded winter session of the Maharashtra Assembly has resulted in 30 MLAs, including 10 ministers, being infected with COVID. Meanwhile, as cases in Mumbai and Maharashtra continue to rise, the government may bring in more restrictions if the trend continues and hospitalizations also spike. Currently, only 2371 or 7.8% of the total available beds in COVID facilities are occupied in Mumbai, as the city has nearly 16,500 active cases. Hospitalizations have gone up marginally. While the number of active cases have risen sharply in the last 1 week, hospitalizations have only risen by about 1.4% when compared to the same time last month, which is a good sign, doctors say. While the Omicron variant is believed to be pushing up the cases, the Delta variant and its subvariants, which have caused havoc during the second wave, is still also around.
आने वाले दिनों में अगर केसेस बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ें तो शायद लॉकडाउन की तरफ भी हमें कुछ दिनों के लिए फैसला लेना पड़ सकता है.
The government says it will be able to avoid a lockdown, but more restrictions may come in. Several corporates are already making plans to implement work from home and reduce staff attendance if the situation demands. The last week has seen active cases go up from 4,765 on Monday to 16,441, a 4-fold increase. The figures over the next few days will be a critical driver of any decision on further restrictions. In Mumbai, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
So in the end, the easiest, most effective, most practical way to protect ourselves is simply to just mask up.
This is the vaccine which we need to put up just now. So mask up India.
We are working day and night for you all. The only thing that you have to do is mask up.
ये सबसे दरख्वास्त करना चाहते हैं, सबसे अनुरोध करना चाहते हैं और ये रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहते हैं कि जो इसके बचने के लिए है, मास्क की बहुत ज़रूरी है.
Please do wear your mask and protect others and also stop spreading the infection. Mask up India. Take care.
Wearing your mask is very, very important even though you are vaccinated with 1 dose or 2 doses of vaccination.
It's my sincere request to all the people to wear masks, use hand sanitizer and maintain social distancing.
I request everyone to raise your mask and please just remember those days of April 2021 where we had to suffer a lot.
And the other big story of the day, the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act license of around 6,000 organizations, mostly NGOs, ceased to exist from the first day of 2022. This means that these organizations, which include several NGOs, can no longer receive foreign funding. The organizations are among a cumulative 12,530 whose FCRA license has ceased to exist over the past few years. This includes organizations like Oxfam India Trust, an NGO that works to support child education, empowering women, fighting against inequality, a Blind and Handicapped Association, the Leprosy Mission of India, the Tuberculosis Association of India. This also includes the Indira Gandhi National Centre for the Arts, the India Islamic Cultural Centre. The Home Ministry says that 5,789 of these 6,000 organizations didn't apply for a renewal. And the Uttarakhand police on Saturday registered a case against the organizer of the Dharma Sansad in Haridwar, Yati Narsimanand, 12 days after he made a horrific and blatant hate speech in Haridwar. At the event, calls were made for genocide and violence against Muslims. Now, while the Uttarakhand police has finally registered a case, they have not made any arrests. 5 ex-armed forces chiefs yesterday on Friday wrote to the Prime Minister and the President on these Haridwar hate speeches saying we cannot allow such incitement to violence together with public expressions of hate. They urged the government to act. And 12 pilgrims have died. Over a dozen others have been injured at a stampede in Jammu and Kashmir's Vaishno Devi shrine. The stampede was triggered off by a massive rush of devotees. Of course, this is during a pandemic. A massive rush of devotees who came in to mark the beginning of the new year without permission slips, allegedly. So will anyone be held accountable for why and how this happened?
An altercation, chaos, and a stampede that killed many after a large crowd reached gate number 3 of the Vaishno Devi Bhavan at 2:15 a.m. on Saturday. This is the first time Vaishno Devi has seen such a stampede, and devotees say it was because people were allowed in without registration.
वहाँ पे पुलिस की इतनी रिस्पॉन्सिबल है कि मतलब जैसे डिवाइडर लगा नहीं सकते थे, उन्होंने आने जाने वालों को मिक्स कर दिया। फिर पुलिस ने मेरी आंखों के ही सामने पुलिस ने खुद ने धक्के मारे पब्लिक को।
भीड़ भाड़ था, उधर से धक्का मारा जा रहा था, इधर से धक्का मारा जा रहा था, तो उसमें बच्चे जो छोटे होते थे तो वो दब रहे थे, महिलाएं दब रही थी। तो बस ये है कि जो बीच में फंस गया था वो निकलने की कोशिश कर रहा था कि मैं बाहर कैसे निकलूं।
एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की गलती थी। हाँ बिल्कुल गलती थी, क्योंकि इसलिए गलती थी उनकी क्योंकि जो यहाँ पे जो मतलब जो यात्री पर्ची होती है उन्हें उस हिसाब से ऊपर भेजना चाहिए था। उन्होंने इतनी पर्ची काट दी कि ऊपर अंधाधुंध लोग हो गए और पैर रखने की भी जगह नहीं थी और उन्होंने इकट्ठे लोग छोड़ दिए।
Most victims belong to UP and Delhi and were between 24 and 38 years old. Sources say over 40,000 had gathered near the Bhavan, which can accommodate only 20,000. Devotees say the situation was aggravated after the police lathi charged the crowd. The Jammu and Kashmir administration says a high-level probe has been ordered. The Prime Minister expressed grief over the incident.
कुछ एक वर्षों में देखने को मिला है कि न्यू ईयर ईव पर एक ट्रेंड आया है, बहुत बड़ी संख्या में युवा यात्रा करने आते हैं। जो ट्रेडिशनल डेवोटीज थे गुजरे जमाने में वो अधिकतर त्योहारों के मौसम में आते थे, परंतु देश के प्रधानमंत्री स्वयं देख रेख कर रहे हैं, पल पल की मॉनिटरिंग कर रहे हैं, प्रत्येक अधिकारी से स्वयं बातचीत कर रहे हैं।
Those injured are being treated at the super speciality Narayan Hospital, which is run by the Shrine Board.
This is for the first time when a stampede has happened at Mata Vaishno Devi Shrine. 12 devotees have lost their lives and more than a dozen have been injured. While administration has ordered a high-level probe and yatra has been resumed, many devotees had to return without darshan on the first day of the new year. In Srinagar, Nazir Masoodi, NDTV.